Hey guys, Vitality here. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 10 hidden base locations on the brand new ARK map, ASTRAEOS. In this video, I'll be showcasing 10 hidden caves, and it's important to note that they are fairly large locations. So if you're going to build in one of these spots, they're definitely more suited for tribes. If you guys want me to make a route haul video, I'm definitely down to do that. Just let me know in the comment section and like the video. And I'll come out with a video showcasing some smaller base spots for the solos and joys out there. With that being said guys, I hope you find this cave location guide as helpful as possible. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe to keep up to date on any future videos. I'm going to be doing a solo series on this brand new map, so stay keen for that, and as always guys, enjoy. At number 10, we've got our first cave on the Corinthos Island, latitude 56 and longitude 26. This cave actually has two entrances, so it's not the best from a PvP standpoint, but you'll find it pretty much at the base of this kind of mountain here. It's a little bit further up from the beach than most caves, and you can see it from a mile away, but the cave itself is quite large, as you can see. There's a bit of a narrow passage and it leads into this larger opening, and the other entrance is just around the corner here. And yeah, I don't think it's a terrible cave, all things considered. If you've got a large tribe, then building in here might be a decent idea. I think this entrance you could defend quite easily. I'm not too sure about the other one, but I'm sure there's people out there that could figure it out. There's also access to water in the center of the cave, which is an added bonus, and there's a few resource spawns inside it too. I think those are metal rocks, and there's a bunch of crystal around. The other entrance is located at latitude 58 and longitude 24, pretty much, you know, not too far away from the first entrance. Overall, it's not a bad cave, and yeah, with that being said, let's move to number 9. Coming in at number 9, we've actually got two caves stacked on top of each other. Once again, we're on the Corinthos Island, and the latitude is 22 and the longitude is 8. If we come around here to the top of this ledge, you'll see an opening, and inside of that is quite a large space. There's quite a high ceiling to it, so I can imagine a lot of people will be building bases quite high up. There's also quite a bit of space down here, and there's actually another cave directly underneath it, which I'm counting as the same spot, because if you're building in the top one, you're going to have to build in the bottom one too. I don't think you'll escape the, whatchamacallit, enemy structure zone, so this is kind of like a 2-for-1 spot. The bottom cave is not as spacious as the top one, but they're both pretty decent. As far as caves go, if you're needing space, I'd definitely consider this one. Again though, from a PvP perspective, it does have quite a large entrance, so build here at your own risk. With that being said though, let's move on to spot number 8. Spot number 8 is actually not too far away from the last cave, and I think I prefer this spot over the other two. We're once again on the Corinthos Island at latitude 20 and longitude 10. And the cave opening is behind some trees this time, so it's a little bit more hidden. It's kind of located on one of these pillars, just branching out from the ocean. It's not as big as the others too. I think it's quite better in terms of cave opening and also on the inside. There's quite a lot of space in here, and there's only one entrance. There's also a bit of space at the top here too. Honestly, this is the kind of spot I would consider building in if I was a solo or a duo. Even a small tribe would definitely work in here too. If you keep these trees at the entrance, it's probably going to keep it a little bit hidden as well. But with that being said guys, that's spot number 8. Let's move on to spot number 7. At number 7, we're moving to a different island. We're actually on the Corinthos Island, I think it is. Correct my pronunciation if I'm wrong. It's kind of like the darker stoned biome. And not far from the beach, we have our first cave over here. Latitude 18, longitude 8. It's once again quite a sizable entrance. A lot of the caves on this map seem to be, but there's also a sizable space inside, so it's a bit of a trade-off. A lot of this space is super flat, and there's even like a pillar in the middle. Another ledge on the inside here too. So I'm not too sure how you would defend this from a PvP standpoint, but I think you could definitely build quite a big base in here. Just depends on what kind of style of play you're going for. And there is a water source pretty close to the entrance as well, so if you're thinking of hooking up some plant species X, I'm sure you'd be able to do that as well. Not a bad spot, and yeah, that's our spot number 7, so let's move on to spot number 6. Coming in at number 6, we have another double entrance cave, and this one is quite large. It would take a fairly decently sized tribe to build in a cave like this. The coordinates are 6 and longitude 18. Once again, on the Fokintos island, I'm going to just make a different pronunciation every time. This is the first entrance to the cave, and it's not too far away from the water. Bit of a small run up, and you'll find yourself at this behemoth of an entrance. If we come down the aisle here, we'll see a water source in the center, and the other entrance on the other side of it. This one's a little bit smaller, and kind of leads into the, I don't know what you'd call this, dark stone biome. It is a fairly sizable cave, so if you are thinking of building in here, you're going to have to be, I don't know, brave. I think you'll be rocked up on quite a few times by a few different tribes, but it is a cave, so I've got to include it on the list, and it is absolutely ginormous. So if you are looking for a bigger location, definitely consider this. Just got to keep in mind, once again, those two entrances are going to make it a weaker spot overall. It's a pretty big cave though, so it had to make the list. And yeah, that's our number 6, on to spot number 5. At number 5, we've got another double entrance cave, once again on the Fokintos island, latitude 16, longitude 34. This cave is in a bit more of a brighter area, closer to a source of water, and the cave entrances are pretty much right next to each other, as you can see. If we enter the cave, we'll see it's a little bit smaller than some of the other ones on this list, but the entrances are also smaller, so I think it's a worthy trade-off. You know, there's still quite a bit of space back here, especially when you can clear out these rocks as well. I think cave spots are going to be fairly OP, so even caves like this are going to be very decent spots for PvP players. I know they've basically dropped like a reskinned Maywing, the Mayguana, and if it's anything like the Maywing, people are going to just be using that to dive into bases. So building up in a cave is going to be a pretty solid option for PvP players. And this cave, I would say, is one of the better ones on the list. Fairly easy access as well from some of the starter locations. And a pretty decent all-round spot, so that's our number 5. Let's move on to our number 4 cave. Coming in at number 4, we've got another double entrance cave. I don't know what it was when they were making this map, but they seem to love the double entrances. And this one's located on the Fokintos island once again, latitude 7 and longitude 15. These two entrances are once again pretty close together. There's one there, and there's one on the other side too. And it's quite large. The cave itself is pretty big. There's a water source in the center of it too. And this one's got to be one of my favorites as well, for the simple fact that there's quite a big corridor in between the entrances and the cave itself. The entrances are quite close together too, and the cave itself is very far from any spawn points. So you're looking at you're not likely to get many bobs coming up here to check your base spot out. It's probably going to be the more experienced tribes that are looking for decent raids. And to be fair, with a base spot like this, I think you've got a pretty decent chance of defending enemy attacks. Again though, I am going to say build at your own risk, because this cave does have some pretty big entrances, but it's also one of my favorites and had to add it to the list. So yeah, this one's number... is it number 4? Yeah, I think it's number 4. On to number 3. At number 3, we've got one of those rare single entrance caves on the Corinthos island. We're back over here at latitude 24 and longitude 15. This spot is actually located beneath a waterfall. I mean, like, behind a waterfall, that's what I meant to say. And it's pretty close to the water, so if you're looking at placing some plant species X in this one, you've got a pretty good chance of doing so. And this is the cave. Pretty spacious. There's water in the center. Bit of a ledge kind of wrapping around it, and there's a few resources on the inside too. The entrance is quite large, but it is also a little bit hidden behind this waterfall. So if you're thinking of building in a bit more of a hidden spot, I would probably consider this one. There's also quite a lot of water in this one if you're looking at breeding some underwater tames. You could definitely fit some squids in there, probably some bassies too. So if you're considering anything like that, this is probably the cave for you. And that's why it's at our number 3 position. Now let's move on to number 2. At spot number 2, we've got another location on the Fokintos. I'm going to just try a different pronunciation. The Fokintos island. It's also behind a waterfall located at latitude 5 and longitude 3. As you can see, it's quite hidden in terms of all the other spots we've come across. This one's got a waterfall to protect it, and the entrance is just down here. It leads into a very large cave, and that's why it's at the number 2 spot. There's also a water area in the center of it, so once again, if you want to do any underwater breeding, there's plenty of space here. I think as far as cave locations go, this is probably one of the easier ones to defend. It's got quite a bit of a bottlenecked entrance. A lot of the other caves in this video are very spacious, but this one's got a bit more of an enclosed entrance, and there's only one. So immediately, you're at more of an advantage than some of the other spots. That's why it's at the number 2 position. I think it's just one of the better spots on this video. And with that being said, let's move on to our number 1 spot, and the number 1 cave of the video. At number 1, we've got quite possibly the biggest cave I've ever seen, located at 9.6, longitude 10.1, once again on the Fokintis Island, and it's once again behind a waterfall. Now, the reason this spot is number 1 is because it's legitimately the biggest cave I think I've seen in the entirety of ARK's existence. And there's no artifact at the end of this cave, there's no boss arena or anything like that. It is, I think, legitimately just a cave. So, enough messing about, I'll show you guys the entrance. If you come behind this waterfall, there's like a little crack ravine, and it's quite large, it is quite sizable, but the cave itself is ginormous. It goes all the way back here, past this ridge, all the way into this spiraling crystal area. And yeah, that's pretty much where it ends. It's absolutely huge. I'm not too sure, you know, who's going to build in here. Probably like the Alpha tribe or most clusters. I think the entrance is a little bit difficult to defend, so probably not, but whoever chooses to build in here, I wish you luck. It's absolutely huge. So with that being said, that's our number 1 cave location, and I'm sure there's a bunch more caves that I probably missed. This map seems to have quite a few, and as I said, I was only looking around the map for a couple of hours. So if there's any cave spots I did miss, make sure to leave them down below in the comment section, or flick me a message on Discord. The link to join that will be in the description below. And with all that being said, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Stay tuned for my solo series, and let me know if you want to see a rat hole video on this map as well. This video was more to find caves, but I definitely did come across a couple of rat holes while I was searching, so if you want to see that video, hit the like button, let me know in the comment section, and yeah. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one.